you see on tape of Marcus at left tackle the other day?
Yeah, Marcus did some good things. There are times where he pass protected well. Was solid in the run game. I think, as always, when you watch the tape, you're going to have one or two plays that you're going to want to have back, or whether it's technical, finish, whatever it may be. But for the most part, I thought he did a good job. Always areas to improve, and I think you could tell having the entire week to prepare and take those reps and really get ready to go start a game. Showed up and he played well enough for us to win.
How much do you think a year of an off season of being able to put on the strength and muscle can help him? Right, it seems like if there's something in his game, it's like the power seems to be something that can probably improve here moving forward.
Yeah, I think for a lot of these guys, particularly in that position, but really from any position, the jump from year one to year two physically is huge. There's more opportunity. They're now in a position to go and train year round, if you want to call it that. Not worrying about running a 40, not worrying about some of these things that you're never ever going to do again once you leave Indy. So now you're preparing your body for those extra months to go and play football. So for all these rookies that are going into year two next year, I think they all have a tremendous opportunity to go and get bigger, stronger, and get themselves ready to go play a full NFL season. I think that's another thing. It's the season's long. For these guys coming and playing however many games, it's a big difference, coming here and having to go from, call it the middle of July until hopefully February, you know what I mean? So being able to mentally understand kind of what you need to do in order to get your body ready to do that is just as important as the physical part of it. So there's definitely room for growth there in terms of his ability to go get bigger and stronger, but I would say that's the case for the majority of these rookies.
Awesome to have to step in a few different times this year at center.
Mm-hmm.
Has anything changed when he's in there, or how valuable is it maybe to have a guy who you can just plug in?
Yeah, it's great. He's done a great job being able to go and step in, and like we said last week with these offensive linemen, a lot of times the biggest compliment is that you don't notice them. And he's done a great job of not only going and executing his individual job, but really kind of driving the ship up front. We put a lot on the center's plate and kind of set the table for everybody else, and we haven't missed a beat.
Will Jackson, just what's been the most from just you working with him now, what's been the most impressive part of his growth from when you started to this point?
Yeah, I don't know if there's one thing. I think every time he takes the field, he's getting better in a certain area. He's done a great job as a rookie of not really exposing the football. Hopefully we continue that on Sunday. But his demeanor, his instincts, his ability to see things is really unique. So being able to get to kind of know him a little bit better and work with him a little bit more, you're able to kind of see those things that you may not notice if you weren't working closely with him.
When you say ability to see things, what do you mean by that?
Instinctually being able to go and see the field, leverage, coverage, different tells, things along those lines. He's got a great feel for space. So knowing when can I jam this ball in there, or when do I have to pull off, and there's just certain things where some people may have to wait to see somebody open, and some people can anticipate it because they can feel the space, and I think he's one of those guys who can feel that space.
Obviously, as the offensive coordinator, you probably have a little more direct relationship or working relationship with the quarterback room. You could see more of like how they operate as a whole. What have you learned about that room in these last few weeks with you stepping into a role where you probably work more directly with them now? Yeah,
there's a lot of personality in that room, and that's a good thing. Jackson's been very fortunate to have two vets that have played at a high level, that have seen a lot, that have been in different systems, to provide insight, to provide guidance, and to give opinions on certain things, and it allows you to go and have discussions and kind of open up your eyes to there's more than one way to do things, and that's been the biggest thing. I think, both Jameis and Russ have just such a great knowledge. And it's different than, they've played at a high level, right? They've won a lot of games, thrown a lot of touchdowns. Russ has won a Super Bowl. So being able to draw on that experience, what it looks like, what it's supposed to look like, is not only for Jackson but me individually has been great too. Just kind of going and having conversations with them, what they see, and really just being able to kind of draw on their wealth of knowledge has been great.
How much does that help? Do you think that they have he has two different perspectives, right?
Yeah,
it's not just one guy; it's two veterans.
Yep.
Two different perspectives.
And I think that's great. And I think Jackson's a unique individual in his own sense, and I think he's able to kind of filter out, what he needs, right? And what's helpful for him. And again, I think that's just a testament to the type of person he is. His emotional intelligence. But he's been very fortunate to have those two in the room with him, and I think he's grown from it.
You ever see tight ends as your primary focus to start the year, and if a guy like Theo set some drops, a guy like Darius has had some drops. As a coach, how do you, like, they're professionals, so it's like, they know how to do it. So how do you coach that? How do you approach that if a guy maybe is going through that?
Yeah, I think you look and see what's the issue with the drop. Is it hand placement? Is it timing? Is the ball on him before he thinks it's supposed to be? Is he not ready for the throw? Is he should he flip his hands? And then sometimes it's just, kind of giving him a reminder, like, you're pretty freaking good, right? And being able to show him examples of them being able to go and make those types of tough catches. But if it's a fundamental issue, being able to go and try and emulate or replicate those drops in practice in terms of the situations they were in, and be able to hammer it. And okay, well, this is what you did last time. Let's go and make sure you get your hands flipped and just try to recreate that situation. So the next time it comes up, they're able to make the play.
What do you think it is when you look at Theo specifically?
I think some of them are, timing issues. I would say probably I think he had 2 against San Francisco. Ball was on him probably before he thought it was going to be on him. And then, some of those, like you look at the play in New England and the play in Philly, he's got to make those catches for sure. They would have been great plays, but the expectation is that he makes them. So being able to track the ball when it's in the air and being able to time up basically his ability to go and pluck the football, as opposed to waiting for it to get to him.
What's the next step in his development?
Theo's?
Yeah.
I would say playing consistently with the confidence that he has, and his ability to do that day in and day out from the first day, from the first play to the last play is something that's going to be able to take him to the upper echelon of tight ends in this league.
How important do you think it was for Jackson? I mean, he obviously didn't have his best 3 weeks previously, to finish the season strong and be able to kind of take that and move forward towards next year.
Yeah, I think not only for him but for everybody. I think you want to make sure that you're finishing strong and you're playing your best football at the end of the season. So individually for him, for sure, that's important. But I think for the entire team and everybody involved with the team, that's really important.